stay away in an attempt to avoid bloodshed. They say it's been decided that the leaders of the movement, as well as some of the branch leaders, are going to convene and proceed to walk to Luthuli House to deliver a memorandum to the leadership peacefully. The Occupy Luthuli House movement wants the immediate resignation of President Jacob Zuma and the ANC. Let's cross to our reporters that are stationed outside Luthuli House this morning. Griselda Lewis, Aldrin St. Pierre's there as well, but let's talk to Griselda now. Griselda, there's so many reports coming out now saying that it has in fact been called off or scaled down significantly to just a handful of people coming over to so-called visit Luthuli House to hand over a memorandum or a list of demands or what it may be. What is the word you're getting? Because there's just broken up communications that we're getting from all directions at this point.
Well, Leanne, we've certainly been trying to get confirmation on whether this protest will go ahead. But what we do know at this point is that the organisers of the hashtag Occupy Luthuli House campaign have now arrived here. We're still waiting to see the numbers that were anticipated as per the press conference that the group had called here this morning. The large police complement is still outside Luthuli House, as well as the MK veterans as well that are lining the entrance of the headquarters of the ANC. But certainly we're still waiting for those numbers to come through. It was expected that this march or this demonstration will get underway at 8 o'clock this morning, but we're not seeing any of those members coming through here this morning. But also in the early hours of this morning, some of the organisers of the Occupy Luthuli House campaign did issue a statement saying that they're concerned about some of the threats that they've been receiving. They issued a statement on Facebook as well as on other social networking sites saying that the public should stay away from the protest as a result of those threats. Let's just get some clarification on whether this protest will go ahead here this morning. Let me chat to one of the organisers, Gugu Ndima, who is joining me this morning. Gugu, thank you very much for your time this morning. A lot of rumour at this stage about whether the protest is going ahead. Is it so all systems go on your part?
Look, what we indicated, in fact we sent out a statement this morning, is that we urge the public to stay away. The fundamental reason behind this was the threats, and some of our members who are coming from other provinces were turned away by police, which is state machinery. So you can't have casualties, which are members of the public, getting caught in the crossfire. If you actually look out here, you look at the contingent in terms of state machinery, police forces, you wouldn't want a situation where you find casualties right at the out of Luthuli House. So we requested members of the public to stay away, and we will take the responsibility moving forward as members of the ANC and ANC Youth League. In fact, we are going to submit our demands today.
But the statement did not indicate who exactly is threatening you. Where are these threats coming from?
All we can say at the moment is state machinery. That's what we can say at the moment.
State machinery, clarify a bit.
Security.
In terms of security. Gugu, these are certainly not the numbers, if at all, I guess, that you were expecting. Are you expecting this to be a success at all? Buses were expected to be brought in with some of the members that you said were going to participate, but we're not seeing that here this morning.
The members have been turned away. We know for a fact that members were turned away who are coming from other provinces through buses, and it was actually police doing that. So it was a greater risk to have them come here and end up finding conflict and confusion here at Luthuli House. So we couldn't sacrifice that. We couldn't see casualties here. So hence we indicated that members of the public, because the support was overall members of the public as well, we weren't going to sacrifice that.
But there aren't any protesters at the stage. Right here behind me, all we're seeing is organisers here. So would you say at this stage that so far it's been unsuccessful? Your call for, let's discard the members of the public, but from members of the ANC, we're not seeing any of them in front of Luthuli House at this point.
Like I indicated, some have been turned away, but also in Gauteng, the PEC of Gauteng had indicated that members of the ANC are discouraged to come here. So we can't shy away from the fact that that has had implications as well. But we know that there are still members that are coming. In terms of numbers, definitely it wouldn't be the numbers we had anticipated, given the security implications we would have had, but also the fact that we would have been risking lives of people here at Luthuli House. But we are definitely going to be making submissions, as indicated in our demands, to say that we are calling upon certain things to happen within Luthuli House.
Would you say then you've been unsuccessful because you've had these members of the ANC, which you say have been turned away, but certainly the ANC itself does have members in Gauteng, and none of those have showed up here right now. That call has not been heeded.
Well, we can't say none of those have showed up. They haven't showed up as yet, but they are definitely coming. But all we can say that the statement by the PC of Gauteng has had ramifications, discouraging members to come here. Those have implications, and we know that there are those who are in full support but can't be here in public as well.
There's been much criticism, members of the ANC, the leagues as well, also indicating that you should have addressed these internally. Would you say that you, as organisers of hashtag Occupy Luthuli House, have you exhausted or had you exhausted all options before resulting to this planned march to try and address some of your concerns with the leadership of the ANC?
Look, as the SG of the ANC has indicated, that factionalism has been institutionalized, and it's not just the representatives of us organisers, but a number of members of the ANC, that the erosion is quite deep, it's quite severe, and it has caused factions. What we have indicated is that given the fact that we are in a state of abnormality in the ANC, this is some of the routes that we had to take. We don't think it's unsuccessful, definitely not. The fact that the call had been heeded by many is an indication that many people want to express their views about the certain things that we had demanded. Indeed, some people might say that it's outside the constitutional confines, but let it be known that the current situation within the African National Congress has seen a lot of members not being able to express themselves within. And one of these processes, in fact, we didn't come here perpetuating any violence. We said this was going to be a peaceful submission of what it is that we need to say and indicate. So this is also part of it. It's a process, and we believe that as young people we can exhaust it as well.
Just before we went on with this interview, many are saying that many have failed, members of the ANC refused to pitch up at this march, and that your simple excuse is that of threats. I will probe you again on who has been threatening this. You've got to indicate who is threatening members of the hashtag Occupy Luthuli House to give, I guess, a sense that indeed this march has not been a failure. Who exactly is threatening you?
Like we said, it has been police that have actually turned away buses that were coming here, but it is state machinery as indicated. We will not mention specific names, but we have been threatened. Livelihoods have been threatened as well, even with organisers of Occupy Luthuli House. And hence this particular statement was issued out early hours of this morning, because these are some of the messages we have been getting from our members who are supposed to come here as well.
All right. Where to from here? Your protest takes place today, and you will submit that list of demands to the leadership of the ANC. Where to from here? Because certainly after submitting all of that, you'd still want some of your concerns to be addressed.
Look, we're saying that our concerns are not outside the confines of concerns within society, as well as members of the ANC. If you would have seen this weekend that people expressing their sentiments that, you know what, we need change in terms of leadership. So this is not in isolation of anything that has been expressed by ANC and ANC Youth League members. We will continue as well to say that we need to engage, but things have to change. It's beyond the confines of saying that we need introspection. Action, decisive action needs to be taken, and hence we've raised this as well.
All right, thank you very much for your time. They're one of the organisers of the hashtag Occupy Luthuli House campaign, saying that the march will go ahead. They will be handing over that list of demands, of course, that calls for, amongst other things, the resignation of the ANC president and the president of the country, Jacob Zuma, as well as the resignation of the entire National Executive Committee. One of the other issues as well is the disbandment of the Fees Commission, saying that that's not in line with some of the resolutions that the ANC has taken. We're still waiting for that to get underway at the moment, Leanne, but certainly we're not seeing the numbers that were expected here. The organisers saying that they felt threatened, and that some of the state machinery, not wanting to point out exactly who, but simply saying that the police had turned away some of the buses that were coming from some of the other provinces. But my colleague Aldrin Sampierre is just behind me here, and I understand he's going to be chatting to one of the MK-MVA members as well. Let's cross over to Aldrin Sampierre now.